Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Kevin Bradley, joined by my co-host and podcast life partner, Mr. Kevin Gallagher, fresh off of a very busy weekend that we're going to talk to him about very soon. But before that, what exactly is this? Well, Kev and I have been doing shows together for a long time now, and we think it's about time we do one just for us, just on our own. If you want to check any of the stuff we've done, we'll probably link to it somewhere else. But you're on the ground floor of something new here. So thank you very much for giving us your time. We appreciate it.
We're sick of making everybody else money, man. We want to cash in on the big bucks, which is the jiu-jitsu podcast circuit, right?
Yeah, we want a piece of the $5 we've made people lifetime.
Exactly.
So first of all, let's just talk about you about it a little bit, Kevin. How are you doing?
Man, I am doing well, man. I've been busy, man. My gym has opened up. I've been crushing it at my gym. I don't like to get too cocky about things like that, but I have been doing well with my gym, so I cannot complain about that. I somehow or another found myself in a competition. And then I found myself in two back to back. So I competed twice this last weekend. Writing up a storm, doing some editing, doing a bunch of stuff with the jiu-jitsu circuit, trying to make some moves, trying to make things happen. And it's just been busy, man. I got a whole lot of things happening here right now.
I kind of want to take a second because this flashes me back to like when we first met writing and doing podcasts for the Jiu-Jitsu Times. And that was you having your own gym was something that you were working on even back then. And then COVID happened. A lot of stuff fell through. How does it feel to finally be like going in day to day in your own gym and just making it happen there?
It's funny because it kind of came in stages. Obviously, I'd always had the dream of opening my own gym up. It always something in the back of my head. And then, when I finally got around to doing it, I was super excited about it. But there's that feeling of anguish of not knowing the uncertainty of what's going to happen. And even though I'm in a network with, several very successful gym owners, Matt Arroyo, Sonny Parlin, Robbie Onofrio, to name a few, Tony Way, Chris Midget Rodriguez, all these people are obscenely successful in their own gyms. And they were all telling me exactly what to do, give me templates to succeed, and telling me, Kevin, you're going to kill it. You're going to crush it. You got a great area. Everybody loves you. You're an awesome guy, blah, 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 blah. Like all of those things are awesome. But when you open up a business endeavor, none of that makes any difference until you start seeing the numbers, until you start seeing students come in, until you start seeing some profits come in, until you start seeing those ledgers go from red to black.
It's the most anxious waiting game until it's not.
Yeah, because everyone's like, just relax. You're going to be fine. Everything is good. It's like, well, I'm not fine. You're never fine until it's right. It's still not right. You still have to. I'm to the point now where I'm, breaking even, maybe making a little bit off the top. But it happened at a very accelerated pace, and I can see the growth continuing to happen, and I'm just super blessed to be opening a gym at a time when jiu-jitsu is such a big sport in the United States. It's really starting to take off, and I'm capitalizing on that.
So you would say, like, in terms of how you are as a business owner, like the top button might be unbuttoned on the shirt. Like you're not going full cash, but maybe you loosen the tie
a little bit. Yeah, you have to have you have to still run it like a business, and that's the hard part, because that's difficult for me, man. Because like, dude, I love fucking jiu-jitsu. Like I would do it for like I'd trade for like beads and corn and shit. You know what I mean? Like I always make that joke when I close out my gym at the end of class and we have our little mat side talk and shit like that with all my students. But however, the reality of the world is you just can't live off of that. You have to be able to make a profit. You have to be able to make a living, and there's a line you can walk to maintain some checks and balances that are, incorporated in every business. You got to have, people have to pay in a timely fashion. You have to do the things, and contracts are still kind of maybe for me. I'm working on that. I think it's going to happen eventually, but you have to do these things to keep things in check in order, because that's the way business runs. But you can also do that with a welcoming manner and a non kind of way to make it function.
Yeah, I feel like that you talked a little bit about the support system that you had going into it. It's a murderer's row of not just jiu-jitsu competitors, but successful businessmen. You know, it's just
Right.
Sonny, your buddy from the Old Man Grappling Hour, Rob Kahn, Matt Arroyo, just like these are guys that have succeeded at incredibly high levels, both athletically and economically, financially. Do you think that there's still more you can learn from them?
Oh, absolutely, man. You know, it's funny because in our particular network, you know, we call it a network, but it's almost like a network in name only. We have each other's backs and we get to fly under the Gracie Tampa flag. But as far as, you know, having any kind of a cohesive structure where we all have our own templates at each gym, you know what I'm talking about? We don't follow any kind
it's
of
not like a franchise. It's not like an
we're still
affiliation.
relatively all on our own. However, we do have some power as a block. Like we all use Marketing Muscles, and Marketing Muscles gives us first dibs a lot of times because all of our businesses, all of Gracie Tampa's business runs through Marketing Muscles, and they do a very good job of their marketing stuff. And you know, we all relatively have the same philosophies on things, but like each individual gym has their own, you know, different ways in which they do things. You know, like Robbie offers this contract, does this thing, does this promo thing, does this and that, and this class structure. And then Tony from Gracie Palm Harbor, Tony Way does this, and this. And then Matt does things, this, and this, Christina. So what I generally do is, for the most part, I take bits and pieces and advice from all of them. And, you know, the little things that I like about Chris, I put that in. The little stuff I like about Matt, I put that in. The little stuff I put like about Robbie, I put that in. And then you make it your own gym, which is pretty fucking cool. So,
well, I'm just happy to hear it's going well, man. The Gracie Trinity flag is definitely flying high. It's a cool logo. I'm still waiting on my fucking Gracie Trinity rash guard.
I know, I'm such an asshole. I'm totally gonna bring it to you. I'm such a dick. I tell you, it's funny too because you're a large, right? Large.
No, I'm a medium. You know what? I was gonna get into my weight gain later in the episode, but if you want to go into it now, I'm a medium. I ordered a medium, but I might need a large right now.
Whatever. I'll give you a medium if it helps you sleep at night, Kev. But
thank you, appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Oh man, that's actually something. It's funny because when I started when we started doing podcasts together, I was living in a house with weightlifters my last year of my graduate school. And so every day it was just lifting weights, running, weighing your food. It was phenomenal. And now that I'm happily engaged to a very good chef, that all kind of went out the window, you know, along with COVID. But currently, my fiance is doing a fellowship, a 4-month fellowship in Boston. So I'm going to have a certain block of time where I could maybe restart my like athletic career. I have a very limited window of time, so I'm hoping to make things happen in 4 months.
Yeah, it's always rough when your girlfriend can cook.
It sucks, man.
Well, you know, because the thing too is like you can't tell her I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat that. I don't want to eat that because I eat healthy because she cooked it for you, so you got to eat that shit. And it's usually awesome.
Yeah, no, I also have I don't even get there. I don't even I don't even want to tell her no because I just want the food. My brain shuts off. And I'm like, oh, you're making French toast and bacon and over easy eggs in the middle of the day for no reason. That's great. I love you. Yeah, this is gonna work out fine.
Thank you. Can you make me a plate, please?
Yeah, no, dude. You get a plate if you ever come over. How about that?
Sure. Hello, I love you. Hope you're doing well. Take care of Kev. Keep him well fed. He needs put a little meat on his bones anyway.
I mean, yeah, I'm a pretty tiny guy, so honestly, becoming more dense is something that could help me out a little bit. Density, being like Orlando Sanchez, sort of just like a stout, like powerful guy. Tree stump.
He's a big son of a bitch, man. He is so good.
Have you ever rolled with him?
No, I haven't, but I saw him. I met him face to face at the WNO in Austin about 2 months ago when I was with Aaron, and he is monster, just huge, just a he's not super tall. I think I maybe have an inch or two on him, maybe an inch. I don't know. I think he's under.
Yeah, he's a very stout, small guy, but like he is like stout. A boulder.
Stout is not the word for it. Just one of them people that when you touch, You're just like, holy shit! Like, what the fuck would I do with this guy? Like, I couldn't even like jiu-jitsu is supposed to be, the great neutralizer. But come on, now. What the fuck are you gonna do with that guy? What are you gonna do with Orlando Sanchez if he wants to kill you? Seriously,
there's one matchup that might tell us what happens, and that's Mikey Musumeci versus Orlando Sanchez.
Mikey Musumeci would do that. Would take.
You know what? I want to see that. I want to see that because that might be the greatest jiu-jitsu match of all time.
I think that we should talk to some promoters and make that happen. I think we could be that would be the next Craig Jones, Gabby Garcia.
People would forget about Craig Jones, Gabby Garcia if we get this on the books, because that might not even happen.
What's the latest on that, by the way? Because I know you know more about this shit than I do. I just wait for you to tell me. Tell me what's the latest on that?
The latest for that I checked was that it fell through because the streaming, they were going to put it on themselves. It was going to be a part of a promotion.
Yeah, he was going to do it at his gym or some shit like that.
It was just going to be something that they did themselves. No worries, no big fanfare, just a recorded role, like a competitive role, see who wins. But they got so many eyeballs on the streaming service they were using that they decided, we need to actually build an infrastructure because it'll crash. If we go live, it's just going to shut down.
Yeah,
and then that's
remember
it.
They did that where they were going to have the match, and everyone peeped in, and it turned out to be that amazing fucking interview. Like, I remember watching the interview and being super pissed off because I was like, these fuckers, they got us. It's just going to be a publicity thing. And for the first fucking 3 or 4 minutes, I was like, oh, this is so fucking lame. And then it started getting into it. And God bless Craig Jones, because that was probably the most entertained I've been by a random fucking circumstance. I watched the whole goddamn thing, and it was absolutely hilarious. It was funny, man.
I remember being pretty engaging for what it was, and they weren't lying. They weren't trying to sell us anything. They're just like building everything out. And I guess after that, schedules kept getting like bungled up. They've been pretty mum on the subject, like aside from like make memes at each other, which is great. But I think everyone would love to see it. I think the interest is definitely still there.
Yeah, I mean,
it could be like a promotional thing for the B team.
The B team. We got to talk about all this.
I mean, like, that could be the next. We haven't had like our time to ourselves in a minute, so
a long
I think
time,
we could just it's been it.
But basically, I heard they were going to switch it to Risen because that's the Japanese promotion, because she has done professional wrestling stuff and fights for Risen, so they were going to use that platform, and then it just kind of died, which is sad.
She's like fought a Japanese professional wrestler in MMA. Gabby Garcia had. I don't know if I don't know if she's done pro wrestling. That'd be amazing get for any wrestling outfit out there. AEW.
I would watch that match for fucking 30 minutes, even if it was a complete work, and I would love every second of it. I would die. I would love it every second of it, because I think it's just absolute gold to watch Craig Jones do his best, channel his best. I can't think of the fucking guy's name from Saturday Night Live. It's fucking whatever. It would be really funny if I could the fucking man on the moon.
Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. It would be amazing to watch Craig Jones channel his best Andy Kaufman and do 30 minutes with Gabby Garcia, because Gabby Garcia would really want to fucking win. She would fuck off and ha, but she really wants to fucking kill him. She knows it's fun. She knows it's all fun and games, but she really wants to go out there and fucking kill him. It would be amazing.
I want Gabby Garcia, Ronda Rousey, Hell in a Cell, WrestleMania match, like steel cage. Break out the chairs, break out the tables, just like ladder match. Let's do it. Let's really do this thing. Yeah, I'm even looking at his. Hang on, do I remember how to do this? Share screen, and there we go. I'm looking at his Instagram, and there's really not a ton in terms of info. There's like there's this like memes like this, like, which is phenomenal.
Most jiu-jitsu guys are so woefully underprepared for the big time of social media. There needs to be some people out there that are like sharp kids that can help these guys really reach the market a little bit better.
Yeah, I think Craig is definitely he might be the greatest jiu-jitsu athlete / user of social media ever. I think the fact that he was the first one to jump on OnlyFans is like a way to teach people one-on-one. That's insane. That's like a brilliant idea.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good one. You could go on the fans only. He'll give you
like so his OnlyFans is like you can pay for like technique videos.
Oh shit. Like personalized techniques, or he'll get on the
you can like chat with him. You can chat with him and stuff. It's insane. It's actually
I'd buy one of those from Craig Jones.
Yeah, and he puts free stuff up too. You just gotta sign up.
I would buy that shit from Craig Jones in a heartbeat, man.
You gotta. The problem is you gotta sign up for OnlyFans. You gotta like.
I might try to hit him up. I'm gonna be in Austin again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, middle of the month, I think. End of the month for the next WNO. Matt Arroyo has to go to Matt Fervolo's wedding, which I didn't get invited to. Hey, whatever. I love you, Matt. No big deal. No, I'm just fucking with you. It's cool, kid. It's up in Long Island. It's no big deal.
Hey, Steamroll, congratulations, man.
Yeah, and him and his future wife are awesome. So I am going to be in Austin to go coach Aaron at the WNO, and I'm sure that Craig Jones, he's probably going to be on the card. He's on every fucking card. Oh, so awesome. I'm going to hit him up and see if I can take a private lesson from him maybe while I'm out there.
You got to get more back and forth between you and Joe Rogan next time you're up there, dude.
That's my goal. Everyone's goal that has anything to do with martial arts is to get on the Joe Rogan show.
You're the only guy that's gotten like a picture with Joe Rogan and has not like milked the shit out of it, which is phenomenal.
I didn't want to make it weird. I mean, believe me, it might have gotten me like a number or two at a bar. Oh, Joe Rogan. Maybe
I might have been next to you. I might have been next to you. No, you fucker. I was the one that was telling you to. I was telling the girls like, hey, this guy knows Joe Rogan.
I know that was actually
you piece of shit.
That shit worked, by the way, too. If I had more game, I wasn't having a good night that night. But if I had more game on me,
we were on a work trip, man. Don't worry about it.
You did it all for me. I promise you. The only thing you talked about is how much you loved you.
Oh yeah, no, for real.
Sure,
yeah, no. Your ass. Hey, look, I'm out of the game. I am out of the game. I'm here just to help my homies out.
I'm actually waiting for her to like Spider-Man. She's tingling in the other room. I'm just waiting for.
She's gonna break my neck.
She's gonna break my neck. Yeah. Put up to your throat right now.
But that's I think Austin's a great place to talk. We had no freaking agenda today. We're just going over some news, and I think Austin is a big. We got to talk about just the general area of Austin because it's about to get a huge influx of jiu-jitsu. Obviously, everybody's aware the Danaher Death Squad split up into the New Wave Jiu-Jitsu team and the B-Team Jiu-Jitsu team.
Two of the worst names in jiu-jitsu, worst names in jiu-jitsu, by the way. Those guys could have done better than that. But.
I mean, I loved watching like old episodes of the A-Team on TV Land when I was a kid. So the B-Team and the way they've marketed it kind of like tickle the cockles of my heart a little bit, but yeah, it's kind of cringe, There was a lot of drama from the move to Puerto Rico. The Danaher Death Squad guys moved to Puerto Rico during the pandemic, and they've since imploded, and both sides of this divide have wound up in Austin, Texas. You got the New Wave Jiu-Jitsu, comprised of Gary Tonin, John Danaher, and Gordon Ryan, and maybe others. Those are the three I know of. And the B team is Nicky Rod, Ethan Krellenston, Craig Jones, Nicky Ryan. I don't know if I'm forgetting anybody.
Everybody else.
So that's the divide as it stands. They've both, obviously, for some reason they couldn't make it work, even though they're now both in the same place. You have a theory about that.
I got lots of theories.
Yeah,
I don't want to get too involved in it because I know a few of the. I mean, at least no one's going to listen to this fucking shit. But I don't want to talk too much shit about things I don't know. But it just seems that there's based upon the data that we have compiled from random people. It just seems to me that there's something about conflicts of power plays, maybe conflicts of egos that might have caused some kind of a break in this issue or in this team. It's those things happen, I guess. You've got a lot of guys on that team that all are capable of being stars of themselves, and it's hard for people that want to be stars to take a back seat to those that might have already established themselves a little bit more. And egos happen. People get upset. Shit comes down, and sometimes dream teams break apart. There's a reason why dream teams don't stay together, because every one of them is capable of going out and conquering their own divide in one way or another. And it's kind of sad, but it happens.
Here's the thing, though, that I feel like with dream team in a sport like jiu-jitsu and combat sports, I feel like dream teams don't really mean the same thing. Like on the 90s Bulls, every person on that squad contributed something to the overall team victory. But with something like the DDS, everyone's going, at the end of the day, everyone's competing alone. They train together, they work together,
Right.
and they help each other, but they're looking for individual medals.
And building their own brand. And that's not even my word saying that. So we can speculate on that, because other people like John Danner or other people have used those exact words. So when you say things like members of the team were concerned about building their own brand, and there was like that's pretty much
totally reasonable.
Totally reasonable to make that freaking assumption.
Yeah. So I know we can talk a little bit more about everything going on, but I want to ask you, just because you're someone who's been a part of like big teams, looking for MMA success, BJJ success, what goes into building a good gym team?
Oh man, dude. So it's funny because I talk about this all the time. Because I talk about it in my gym and some of the things that I want to do with my gym. I think that, you have to be driven. You have to be driven to succeed. And I think in certain instances, you always have to find that one person that is the, hey man, we're going to take this thing to the top, and everyone else, you can come with me or not. You can hitch your wagon to me, and my drive for success is going to bring us all along for the ride with you. But if you don't, you're going to get left behind. That's all there is to it. And I think that, there's a lot of ways we could take that. But I think that, for the most part, in my gym, at least where I train at Gracie Tampa South, I think Matt Arroyo is that amazing person that is just so incredibly driven and so incredibly apt for success that he just drags everybody else with him. And he brings everyone along for the ride. And if you can come, you can come. If not, I ain't got time for you. But like, if you're on, you're on. He is so driven and so amazingly freaking geared for success. Then you roll right with it. But there's so many different components, man. You got comes right from Rob Kahn, jiu-jitsu directly from the source. I mean, Rob trained with fucking Helio Gracie. You know what I mean? Rob Kahn has been on the mat with Helio Gracie. There's not a whole lot of people in the world that could say that. He got his black belt from Hoist Gracie. You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot of people that can say that either. So, when you talk about the quality of jiu-jitsu, and then you talk about people, Robbie Norfrey is another one. I always forget to say his name, but Robbie's, he doesn't compete as much anymore. He's more of a businessman now, but successful, driven competitor. When you look at that kind of ethos, you always have to have someone that says, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to contribute things. This is something we're going to do. And the only reason why is because I have done it, or I have been around other people that have done it. So if you do this, it's going to work, because then other people see that want to be successful, and they recognize that, and they say, okay, cool, I'm just going to do what the fuck you tell me to do. That's just my opinion on it. And maybe that didn't answer your question, but there's a million different ways that I could take that to things that makes, fucking location is another.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, for a lot of people, just looking at the surface level, you look at who's making waves, who's being talked about, the DDS. That must be the best team, the best squad. But then you got like guys like Drysdale that get shouted down for saying accurately that, like, in terms of just numbers, Atos wins more. That's just, more of their people win more across the board for now. That's just like they have the better track record right now. So is a super team in jiu-jitsu one with a few like key superstars winning a few really good matches at the high levels, or just overall, like
that's where you can have that debate. And that's what we always talk. That's why I always talk about when people like to talk about who the greatest grappler of all time is. It's like, it's a very ridiculous, it's a very difficult conversation to have, because there's really no criteria that suggests, okay, this is what it takes to be the GOAT. It's very vague and very open interpretation. And the same thing can be said about jiu-jitsu gyms. Well, right now, probably fucking 3 or 4 of the best grapplers in the game all train at Danaher Death Squad. And being, what they did before they broke up. But, if you can say that and say they're the best, however, but if you're looking at the complete body of work, you got a gym like Atos that maybe, you still got great guys. I think a Hanger, you got fucking, the Rotolo brothers, you got Barbosa, Andre Gaval. But, you could give them, and you could even a gym like Checkbat. You could give these guys a nod simply because they have more people competing. So they might not be at the top, but they have more people at the top 75, 80, 90% of the game. And they've got 100 of them or 50 of them instead of just 5 at that gym. So what do you base the criteria on which is the best gym? I mean, I don't know. I think if I had to pick a gym, I'd pick John Danner to train under. If I could get in there, if he would give me any attention, you know what I mean? He's known for not really, you got to earn his respect and shit like that. I think that, if I had to say one place in the whole world where I want to go train at, maybe Robert Drysdale's up there too. And I just like him. But I think if I wanted to be a competitor, I wanted to be a winner. Like, I don't know too many other gyms. Like, Atos is close, but I don't think there's any other gyms that even come close than John Danner. The guy's just proven he's made the best grapplers on the planet. He has created himself. The best MMA fighters on the planet. He is like, when you look at a guy like that, same thing I talked about, someone that takes you to the top. If you just do what they say and jump on board, you're going to get there. And the proven track record is always there. I don't think there's too many that are better. I don't think there's anyone that's better than John Danaher right now.
I got to say, the one thing it feels like comparing it to, for some reason, the situation kind of reminds me of like Tom Brady leaving the Pats, 2 years ago, where it started to question at the end of his tenure, who made who? Did Belichick make Brady, or did Brady make Belichick? And I think if we're going to see how the B team does now, are they talented without Danaher? It's obviously apples and oranges in a lot of ways, but I think that's a question that people are going to start asking.
Well, too, you can also start to say this is that, obviously who knows if Gordon Ryan's going to compete again, or Gary, or all those guys.
He's actually given updates, and he says his stomach ulcers are getting a lot better.
I saw that. Yeah, but he's been saying that. This Gordon, I know he's sick, and I feel for him for his sickness, but it's just I always feel like there's like some. Everything with him is just is a like political, or not even political. It's like something to kind of like, catch everybody off guard. I tricked you. It's a marketing scheme. You could look at that room now and you could talk about, great. Gordon is the greatest, and are these guys going to be able to do well without John Danaher? But you could also start to say, well, like, how good is Gordon going to do now that all of these guys that were his premium training partners, who are also the best grapplers on the planet, are no longer there to compete with him, to keep him motivated? I mean, it's going to be a while, possibly, before John can really rebuild his team in the same manner that he did when he had all the studs that decided to leave. So we'll really see, the big picture of everything. Who really lost out on this? Was it John and Gordon, or was it the B team without having Gordon and John?
We might see some. Do you think some guys like at Henzo gyms that are doing really well might get like bumped up to go train at Austin with these guys? Because they're still there's still a Henzo gym, right?
Man, I don't even know what the hell is going on anymore. I seriously, when they were in Puerto Rico, it was going to be, we were going to revolutionize the jiu-jitsu world in Puerto Rico.
That's not even to say there's a ton of probably annoyed Puerto Rican grapplers right now that probably bought into the idea of, we're going to get in on the ground floor of this new gym with John Danaher and all these American guys coming in, helping us out. But, wait, you're leaving. Wait, where are you going? John, hey, come on, come back here.
Well, and also, John and Gordon have made no bone. They want to create a John Danaher systematic gym, new wave. It was going to be the DDS, I guess, but I don't. Maybe they lost rights to that. Who the fuck knows? But it was going to be, they were going to have John Danaher affiliate gyms all over the country. That was on the plan, and I thought that was what was going to happen in Puerto Rico. I thought they were going to go down there, keep training, get everything big, and then John was going to start opening up his gyms around, affiliate gyms around. And sure that's probably still on the market. But right now, it's funny because right now I really think that when I think about John Danaher and Gordon Ryan, he's going to hate that I make this reference. They remind me of like the Democratic Party of the last 30 years. Like they have all these great ideas. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And then they never fucking do anything because they can never figure out. They have great ideas, but they never put them in fucking, they never apply them because they never spend enough time to really think about, well, fuck, we really can't do that.
Well, I imagine that he's like, there's eventually going to be enough money coming in from, this new venture. I'm sure he's doing well with like DVD sales and a bunch of other stuff, but people are going to want to buy in. When Keenan left Atos, like the Legion Jiu-Jitsu squad was like the talk of the town for a solid minute, like it was a big deal. And this is several magnitudes more important than that.
One of the other things that I'm kind of starting to find out is that, being a competitor and being a coach and forming your own team is not the easiest thing to do. It's very difficult to focus and it's the reason Marcelo Garcia said that. And I'm not going to compare myself to fucking Marcelo Garcia, but Marcelo Garcia, you can though, Kev, it's fine.
I'll get to it.
The Marcelo Garcia of the Central Florida area, I can run with that.
Yeah, I vaguely remember being called that a few times.
A few whispers. I of course I said, please let it go.
Did Marcelo give me his blessing? Maybe, who knows?
Maybe.
It's okay.
We never really talked about it or actually spoke in person. I actually did go see a UFC fight with Marcelo Garcia. No big deal.
Oh, really?
I did. It's a great story. I'll tell you later. I was in New York for Marcelo. Went to go train with Marcelo Garcia as one of our trips with Matt, and 6 of us, we took a trip from New York City to Newark to go watch. It was the John Jones, Chael Sonnen fight. And we all took a train together and we all fucking sat with each other. And I fucking got to sit next to Marcelo Garcia on a fucking subway train and talk shit to Marcelo Garcia. And the guy from Searching for Bobby Fischer, I always forget his name. The guy that the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer is about, he's part owner of jiu-jitsu, who's a black belt too, is part owner of I forget his name. Google that shit real quick because I forget his Josh Haskins or something like that. He's part owner of Marcelo Garcia's gyms, and we got to hang out. He's a really fucking awesome guy, really interesting dude. I'd love to have him on the podcast sometime. Anyway, I guess the point.
I don't know anything about Searching for Bobby Fischer.
You've never seen that movie before? It's a good movie.
No, it's Joe Montanga.
That's
Fishburne. I don't know. Ben Kingsley. I'm not seeing anybody there.
Good movie. See the movie. Watch the movie. It's a good one.
Based on the Prodigy. Oh, Josh
Haskins.
Weisinski. I don't think Weiskins.
Yeah, Josh Weiskins. Yeah, he's a cool dude. He was a deep water diver. He almost died out in the open water by himself.
He's a black belt under Marcelo Garcia.
Yeah,
wow, that's crazy.
You know what else he is? He's a world champion at Indian leg wrestling. You know that shit, Indian leg wrestling? Yeah, he's a world champion. Yeah, he's a world champion at Indian leg wrestling. As well as being
we have to get this guy. Yeah, we have to get this guy on the podcast. He's a chess grandmaster. He's got
if I can figure out a way to get a hold of him, I might ask him. I'm sure I'd love to have him on the show. He's fucking super. He's a super awesome guy. He's got crazy fucking cool stories, and he's probably one of the greatest chess players of all time.
Dude, it's he's the co-founder of the Marcelo Garcia Academy.com. Yeah. Holy crap, this is awesome. And he's I love it. The person who wrote this this Wikipedia article is in the know because they refer to Marcelo Garcia as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu phenomenon. Marcelo Garcia,
not even Jiu-Jitsu got world champion, a phenomenon.
Phenomenon. Okay, this guy's a purple belt. Hell yeah. What's up?
So the point I was trying to make about Marcelo Garcia is he famously said he retired from competing so he could focus on coaching his students into competing, and I'm starting to realize that that's something that's a real thing. It's tough to live on both sides of that aisle. It's just hard. You have to focus on making your students better while you're making yourself better. There's a certain selfish atmosphere that there's certain selfish aspect that comes into that makes it difficult to really live that double life. And I guess that, we'll see if Gordon and those guys can figure that out while they're trying to start their own gym complexes up. I'm sure Gordon will. He's a fucking superstar, but you get the idea.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of this is marketing or not, but I think both sides ending up in Austin is really telling, because Austin's becoming an absolute destination location for jiu-jitsu, thanks in no small part to the efforts of Flow Grappling, hosting the Who's Number One event, one of the biggest tournaments in jiu-jitsu. Relatively new. It's become like an absolute must-watch event for a lot of people, and a must-compete event for a lot of people looking to cut their teeth and make waves. What do you think about all this? Like this changing of the guard?
Well, I mean, I think they should both thank whatever Chinese scientist in Wuhan created the COVID virus, because Jesus Christ, those views do not necessarily represent the show, the views of the
this as of yet unnamed podcast.
Right. Because I mean, the main reason why everything is migrated to Texas is because you just can't do this shit in New York. You couldn't do it in New York or California for so long that they had to move somewhere else. Joe Rogan moved to Austin because he got sick of dealing with the bullshit. The Dan Estrad moved to Puerto Rico, then to Austin. Texas has always been a hub for jiu-jitsu, but it wasn't really California.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I love you guys, but it wasn't California. California and New York were kind of on top of the market for a while.
That they were the coastal destinations. Yeah. And obviously Flow Grappling was already based out of Austin.
Was Flow based out of Austin? I didn't know that. That makes a huge difference too.
That's been their home for, I think, forever. I don't know if they moved there years ago, but it's their base of operations.
That makes a lot more sense now. The Gordon Ryan connection, and
yeah,
I just think it's really funny. God, it's so fucking funny. It just, if it's not a complete sham, then it really should be. They missed an opportunity, because like the Danaher Desrod broke up into two legitimate sources of jiu-jitsu, and they both moved to the same fucking town to open their gyms up. Are you fucking serious? There wasn't another town in Texas they could go open up. They had to both move to fucking Austin. Like, you're gonna be each other's direct competition. It just seems so fucking.
It's very fishy. It's some sussy baka shit. Yeah, it's like, come on. I mean, obviously the issues are, if the issues are solely with where the brand is going and scheduling and whatnot, and none of this could occur and coexist under the same DDS banner, it necessitated like a split, then both sides could also at the same time want to end up in the same place. They just don't want to work together. Yeah. But do I fully believe that they're probably like still training together? I have no idea. With these guys, you have so many people that are so good at trolling and outright like misleading the public on stuff, that if it wasn't for the fact that there's footage of a new gym, like a B team gym, and people training in it, I would not believe it was real yet.
I'll tell you one other thing too, man. Like, if it's not real, God, it's such a fucking cocksucker thing to do. Could you? I mean, I guess Keenan did it too. I don't know, man. Could you imagine literally training with someone for most of your jiu-jitsu career, and then like having a breakup and kind of pretending like you're on amiable terms, and then open it up right down the fucking street? Like, Jesus, you are literally direct competition with one another. Well, Did Gordon open the gym up yet? Did they?
I have no idea. I haven't really checked, but it does remind me about what the Meows did to Murillo Santana at Unity.
Did they open their own gym up too in New York?
Yeah, well, I don't know what the status is. I'm not a really good journalist, but I know that they had reached out to Murillo saying they wanted to open up their own gym, that it was time, and he's like, okay. That's fine. Yeah. Mr. Santana, please don't fuck us up, please. Okay, how you doing?
The most recognizable voice in God. I don't think if any sport imaginable. When Murillo Santana, or what is it, Santana?
Murillo Santana, yeah.
Yeah, when he's talking, it's
Yeah,
fucking,
no, it's intense.
intense.
I've only heard recordings, and a friend of mine does an incredibly accurate Murillo Santana
It's funny
impression.
too because the voice doesn't. We'll get back to the meows. I apologize, but the
Yeah,
voice
yeah.
doesn't really fit his personality, because his personality is really laid back and cool, and you think it would be because that voice was so like booming and menacing. But he's really, when he's saying this menacing thing, he's usually like saying, "Oh, hey, buddy, you're the best. I like you so much. You're super cool." You know, it's just the way it comes out. It doesn't sound that way.
Yeah, so they had established that they were going to be leaving and doing their own gym. And then Murillo found out that they'd be opening up their gym like a very short distance from Unity, uh, if I remember correctly. And then there was an actual he went to them at the gym or during practice, like at Unity, after he'd found out, and asked them like what happened, like why are they opening up so close. And whichever one he talked to responded, "I don't have to explain anything to you."
Oh.
And that led to a physical fight between them.
Mean, why the fuck wouldn't it? I just tell you, I don't know, like, god damn, like,
That's rough.
you can't open up down the street, homie.
That's
Like,
yeah.
you
I
are
mean,
taking
what
money
the
out of
fuck?
First of all, it's dumb on your side because you're opening up against someone that already has an. I know you're a big name, but you're opening up
The
against someone
meows
who's
are
also
insane.
a big name. Yeah, but Murillo Santana is also
Unity Jiu-Jitsu is too well known. I feel like,
bro, you're nuts. Go open up in the Bronx, homie. You don't open up right down the street.
could you imagine if Dylan Dennis tried to open up a gym right next to Marcelo's? Like the idea of that, it's not the same, but the idea of that is absolutely ridiculous.
It sucks too because jiu-jitsu is starting to become so big that everyone with a black belt now wants to open their gym up. Maybe not even waiting to a black belt, and it's cool, I guess, but like it's not really too cool because like you're fucking over on every other people in the same area. Like Matt Arroyo, like he's famously very, very hard on people that do that. We have a rule: you have to have maintained a 20-mile radius from every other gym. That's a flexible rule. You have to be able to talk about it, but like, if you do that and you don't check it with the powers that be, like you are done, blacklisted, goodbye. Don't talk to us no more and get out of our fucking face. And the problem is because lots of people that are building up gyms and getting to a point where they realize, okay, cool, they're building up their jiu-jitsu game and getting to a point where they feel like I can open a gym, or like, well, that's my right to open a gym up. I'm going to open up wherever I want. And it's like, bro, like, no, you can't, dude, because I'm your brother. Like Matt's your brother, and we all know the same jiu-jitsu. We are competing with one another now, and that is not cool. And I don't know, man. It's distasteful.
I think that's interesting because there's a lot of like strict standards for who gets to compete where, what each belt means, what do you need to do to get a black belt, get a brown belt, what's expected of you. Those are pretty solid lines in a gym setting. Like everyone has their own parameters, but with something like opening up a school, like you had guys in the early days that were like having blue belts and they were getting sent places to go teach classes. Like Rob Kahn famously, like he started teaching as a blue belt. Maybe I think before, even if I remember talking to him like correctly.
I think it was blue belt because he went out. Yeah, he was teaching
because there was nothing. There was nothing else, and the standard like there was nobody else doing anything anywhere. Like within our lifetimes, we probably got to see like zero jiu-jitsu in some states. Like there was zero Brazilian jiu-jitsu schools. In some parts of the world.
100%. Like we're talking like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. We're not even talking that far back.
Yeah.
20 years ago, for sure.
The first jiu-jitsu school in Buffalo opened up in the mid-aughts. That's not awesome. That long ago. Awesome. I love it. Like the 2000s, early 2000s.
I love that word.
Aughts. Yeah, the aughts. Yeah.
back in aught 5.
Yeah. But so I get that in that sort of situation, you feel the need to like, okay, you know enough that you could teach people stuff, and that's going to help get us to the new thing. And it's expected that you keep training. And it sucks that people are opening up gyms so close to one another, because I understand that everybody wants to live in the same spots, more or less, like New York, Los Angeles, like California, like these states that are really high value. People love being there. There's a lot of like stuff that would keep you there. I've been in upstate New York where there's no gyms for like town after town after town. I had to drive an hour and a half to get good jiu-jitsu once a week when I was in college and when I was just starting out, because there was like some sport jiu-jitsu school that was like doing weird like McDojo shit, and I didn't want to do that. I had to drive to Buffalo to get jiu-jitsu, and that's a rough drive. There's so many areas in need of jiu-jitsu that are not getting it. So the fact that people are arguing over opening up right next to each other when they could just open up. Yeah.
Kev, that's what it is. People just don't want to move.
That's fair. I totally get that.
But that's if you don't want to move and you don't want to be cool and take away from your partner's fucking gym, then just you can't open a fucking gym. That's all there is to it. You have two options. You could be cool and give yourself a buffer so you're not taking away money from your fucking friend and your brother, or the guy who taught you everything you fucking know, you fucking ridiculous prick. You know what I mean? Or you can fucking move. I had to move. My gym I grew up in Tampa my entire life. My entire life. There's nothing I wanted more than to open my jiu-jitsu gym right here where everyone knows me. Everyone knows me in Tampa. Everyone. I couldn't do it because it wasn't cool. It's not right. So I had to move half an hour away. So I miss out on all of that. But I did it because it's my dream and I want to open the gym.
And
there are places out there, just like you said, there are places out there that need jiu-jitsu gyms. They might not be Tampa. They might not be San Diego. They might not be New York City or Austin, Texas, or Los Angeles.
To be fair, I don't know if there is an amount of money you could pay most people to get them to move to Olean, New York.
Yeah,
a place forgotten by time.
But you know what? There are people out there that want to do jiu-jitsu, and if you're the only gym in town, you're gonna fucking kill it. But whatever. I've
fantasized about that just because I'm thinking like this McDojo school is able to like rack up the dough just because they are literally the only game.
No competition. The only game.
There's nothing. There is no competition. And I'm just thinking if any like name brand, like a Henzo or an Atos affiliate or a 10th Planet opened up in this area, they would very quickly clean up. They could do like dojo storms, just fucking like old school shit. like actually show that these people don't know what they're talking about and that you should come learn at this other place where we won't like lecture you about weird shit half the time.
Man, like it's these guys, no one wants to give and do the right thing. Everyone wants to have the pie in the sky, but you can still have the pie in the sky. Unfortunately, you waited too long now. You can't be in New York City. You can't be in prime time, prime town USA. You got to go out in the sticks, but you can make it happen if you really want to. And you can make a living off of doing what you love. It's better than having a fucking job, kids. Trust me.
I think that that's another reason that the DDS move out of Puerto Rico bumps me out so much. Like that was them literally doing that.
That's exactly exactly.
They literally were like, there's a potential here for an influx of really solid jiu-jitsu. We're going to go to this area where there's not a lot of jiu-jitsu, or maybe there was, but not at our level. Like we're going to bring an entirely new level of jiu-jitsu to this area and make some homegrown talent. And then they just bounced like within a year. It disgusted me.
Well, there's probably just like you said, there's probably a bunch of pissed off Puerto Rican kids that are pissed off that they lost out their fucking shot to train with the Dead Hair Dress Squad. They thought they were going to go with them all the top, and then they were like, fuck it, we can't do this.
Yeah, some kid or teenager like knows enough about jiu-jitsu, like begs their parents to like let them train at this new place where these Americans are asking for like crazy mat fees to learn from Nicky Ryan, and it's like
a lot of it too, Kev. It's just the nature. We could talk a lot of shit. We could point fingers, but you can't really throw a rock, or you can't really like. unless you've walked a mile in their shoes, you don't really understand. And running a business ain't easy. There could have been the idea of, hey, these guys, maybe they just can't afford it. Maybe the people down there just don't have the money to take jiu-jitsu classes, which really, really happens. Maybe it's just not the right spot, wasn't the right time, and they unfortunately realized they couldn't make it work because Gordon Ryan or not, John Danaher or not, Mo Jassim or not, if you don't have people that can afford to pay what it costs to train jiu-jitsu, you're not going to have a successful gym, and that's just the facts of it. And maybe that turned out to be the facts.
Maybe. And I think be transparent about that if that's the case. Don't make us think that it was all like because you guys had a bad breakup and that's why you got to leave this like area. Be honest about like, hey, it just didn't work out. Address it. Don't pretend like it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Could have been a million different things.
Yeah, obviously we're not on the inside unless we get on the inside. We really don't know.
Who's gonna be one to really break that story though? God damn it, man! I want one of them fuckers to come on here so bad.
You know what? I'm gonna work on it.
I hit Nicky Rod up. No reply. He don't call me back no more. He's too big. He's big time now. I love him. If we saw each other out, I would love him. But he's just a kid. He ain't got time to text people back.
I ruined it because the last time we talked, I made him feel bad about not knowing who Bruce Springsteen was.
I think Craig Jones. Oh, God, that's right. He didn't know who Bruce Springsteen was.
I
think Craig Jones might be our end. I think we could. God damn it! I would fucking. God, I'd love to get one of those fuckers on here just to spill the beans and the whole thing, and he'd love to do it too. Maybe they signed.
Go on some no-name podcast, and that's how everyone finds out what happened.
maybe Mo Jassim made all sign like what is it? NDOs,
NDAs, non-disclosure agreement. Yeah,
that shit. NDA. What Kev said.
I mean, listen. I think the story's going to come out. I think there's every opportunity that we could be the ones to do it, but we're running on time, and I do want to cover one last thing. We're not going to go into like a lot of current events. This is just you and me, baby. Okay? So we just wrapped up the Olympics. First Olympics we've had since the pandemic of the 2020 season. Pushed everything back. It was a lot of like hoopla, a lot of crazy stuff happened. And as happens every year the Olympics is taking place. People in the grappling community are wondering, is jiu-jitsu ever going to become an Olympic sport? Should it ever become an Olympic sport? And I want to get your 2 cents on the topic because I think we can cover some ground that has yet to be covered.
Man. So there's a couple problems with jiu-jitsu as an Olympic sport. And it's just they've been trying to have this discussion for a long time. They've been trying super hard to get together enough hoopla to make an Olympic sport. I think they got close a couple times. I think that we are encroaching upon a space where jiu-jitsu has become popular enough to garner the support internationally of an Olympic sport. Like judo or any other. I mean, there are some fucking Olympic sports I don't even like. It's weird. First of all, and even more than that, I talked to Dan Gable about this, and I think we talked a little bit about with Roddy Ferguson one time when we asked him the same question. Roddy Ferguson, Olympic judo, Olympic judokan, personal friend of the show,
ADCC vet, cool guy.
ADCC vet, right? Cool guy. But there's weird old school. Blue blood, aristocracy, damn it, aristocratic politics involved with getting something onto the IOC because obviously the international. What is the IOC? Is not the
International Olympic Committee.
Yeah, it's not. It's a very private fraternal organization. That's there's board members and people that have been on for fucking probably 100 years since the Olympics began, over 100 years since the Olympics began. They're like family-oriented, old family people that have started paying for it and shit like that. So it's weird. Like there's a perfect example is I think it's what's the one where you ride a horse? There's some weird like biathlon. It's not the biathlon, but it's some weird pentathlete or some shit like that where you do like horseback riding and some like ice skating or some bullshit like that. I don't know what the fuck it is, but that's not right.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Who the fuck knows what that is? Right. But they actually were going to consider bumping wrestling instead of that sport simply because like some fucking old prince or some old fucking aristocrat, his grandfather invented the sport and he wanted to make sure that it stayed on the Olympics, and he's like standing firm on keeping that sport in the Olympics. And there's, there has to be tons of other sports that are in it simply because they've been in forever. It's grandfather then. You're not getting rid of the duck walk or whatever bullshit sport that they come up with.
Walk.
Yeah, power walking. There's 50 swimming sports. There can't be that much backing in that sport or, fanfare in that sport to really make it worthwhile. So that's part of the problem, politics.
Yeah.
I think the other part of the problem is goddamn, dude, like, there's a couple. I'll get to the last one first. I think that they haven't really done a very good job of establishing a coherent rule system that could be. I mean, jiu-jitsu is fractured into a million different places. It kind of used to be the IBJJF. Now you've got submission-only jiu-jitsu tournaments. You've got this rule format, that rules format, no gi. Like what format makes the Olympics is another thing. And I think that the Olympic committee people are kind of like, when they see shit like that, they see it fractured in other places. Like, well, you guys don't even know what jiu-jitsu is yet. How the hell are we going to put it in the Olympics? I think that's part of the problem. They won't even recognize it as a legitimate sport because they won't even get past that point. Because, like, look, you guys can't even figure out what the fuck your own problems are. How the fuck are we going to put you in the Olympics? We don't have time for this shit. Move on. And I think, like, finally, and I hate to say this, I really, really, really hate to say this, and it makes me sad to say this, like, jiu-jitsu competition is fucking boring as hell to watch sometimes. God damn it. It's like watching fucking paint dry. And I am a black belt that's competed more than most people that will ever do jiu-jitsu. I've competed more than them. And I watch it and I still get bored to fucking tears watching it. Like, they would have to figure out a way to make a rules format that still holds true, that could be kind of universal to what the true elements of jiu-jitsu is and still make it exciting. It's the reason why they took out a lot of double leg takedowns and a lot of the groundwork in judo, was because guess what? Throws are exciting. People like to see people get thrown over their head and their feet go up in the air. And like jiu-jitsu or judo people like the other shit, but you're not marketing to judo people. You're marketing to assholes at home that want to watch the Olympics to get behind their home team, that don't give a shit about some dude that pulls guard and tries to work his fucking omoplata for fucking 8 minutes and then gets one guard pass caught on him and loses. You know what I mean? No one gives a shit to watch that. It's boring as fucking hell.
Okay. Now, I agree with a lot of those, specifically the rule set concerns, just because I do think that something like that would need to be codified. There's a lot of really great groundwork for an Olympic committee to, expand upon. I think the Olympic committee put together a team of refs, black belts, people in the community that are on the up and up. They could knock this out. They could figure out something. Or they could literally just pick one of the many rule sets available and just say, all right, we're just going to go with this one.
The only thing I'll say, I don't mean to interrupt you because I know you got a few things to talk about. Who the fuck's going to be? We can't even decide amongst ourselves like fucking belt promotions. We don't even have enough wherewithal within ourselves to decide which event we like the most. Who the fuck is going to be on that committee to come up with? We hate each other. Jiu-jitsu is fucking, we're always at each other's throat. We always have been.
That's true, but I think my ultimate point is that I'll close it at the end, but I think ultimately it doesn't really matter because it would just be good for jiu-jitsu. Like, pick one. At this point, I don't. Yeah, and honestly,
jiu-jitsu, we might be getting there, Kev.
Yeah, and jiu-jitsu doesn't need to be like crazy, like changed in a crazy way to be exciting. Just because fucking who watches marathon running? Yeah. It's people running for 4 hours. Two guys sitting in closed guard is more exciting than that.
But there's still a little bit of drama when you fucking have the last fucking lap and some dude's trying to pull it out. I guess you could do the same thing with jiu-jitsu, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that I just think that in terms of the investment, like a 5-minute match, as opposed to watching like a 4-hour marathon, like continuously being cut back to in between events, I think that jiu-jitsu has a solid claim to being exciting enough for the Olympics, because there are other Olympic events that are just have boring matches. There are boring Olympic matches, in wrestling. They just happen.
But the thing is like it's just weird. I think Kasai probably had the best, and I remember talking to whatever Gracie it was, the big Gracie who ran it. I think it was Neiman. I don't remember who it was.
No,
it was whoever the massive one. I mean, this guy's a monster.
He's got like a brow. He fought in the UFC and
I talked to him briefly when I was on the Kasai and talked a little bit about, just because I was talking shit with him, trying to kiss his ass to get on my fucking show, to get him on the podcast probably. But he told me that he implemented a few rule changes, no advantages, and a few rules to kind of like change things up. Or maybe there was advantage. I don't remember. But it was like takedowns are always, because the thing about like a guard passes is like, people don't really they don't know what the fuck that is. They kind of do a little bit. People don't really know what a fucking sweep is. I guess they kind of do. But everybody knows what a fucking takedown is. When you're standing and someone goes from their feet to the ground and you hold them there for 3 points, everybody fucking gets that drama. Everybody understands that. They know what that means. You don't have to sit through a fucking course to figure it out. I get your point, but still a lot
this year, this past Olympics, we had a sport, an Olympic karateka get disqualified for knocking out his opponent with a head kick. So I don't know what we're doing here with regards to.
Wow, Jesus, Kev, that's a fucking big word.
That's what they're called, right? Like
is that what you call a taekwondo practitioner?
I have no idea. Karate. No, I mean karate, like sport, like Olympic karate guy.
So that's karateka. I'm gonna
for karate, yeah.
I feel like you made that word up, but I know you're smarter. I know you're smarter than I am, and I know you didn't.
Don't say that.
I feel like I feel like you're just fucking with me.
I know a lot of words, and like how to do jiu-jitsu. So it's like we're coming together to form Voltron here.
we level each other out.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So I do think jiu-jitsu should be in the Olympics. I think it's culturally relevant enough. I think enough people have a desire to see it played at that stage. I think it fills a niche that's not really being fulfilled by other Olympic sports. I think it's an entire aspect to grappling that is being ignored.
I thought I saw something about sport MMA. I thought sport MMA was trying to get on. I thought I saw.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, and that's a real callback, because pankration. Like ancient Greek MMA was like a big part of the early Olympics, and that was really cool. But I think jiu-jitsu specifically has a place there. I think it's a huge cultural milestone, and that's a big thing that the Olympics should be, is just the sports that people care about and want to see performed at the highest level. Now, do I think Olympic jiu-jitsu will be the creme de la creme of jiu-jitsu? No, but Olympic boxing is not the creme de la creme of boxing. Anthony Joshua getting an Olympic gold medal has no weight on if he's going to do well outside of the Olympics.
It makes him marketable. It makes him marketable.
It's a great marketing tool. It is a cool marketing tool. That's what it is. That's what it is. I think with the number of rule sets that exist in jiu-jitsu, combat jiu-jitsu, ADCC, IBJJF, submission underground, golden point, over EBI overtime, we have so many rule sets and so many people that care about those rule sets that I think Olympic jiu-jitsu could just be another one of those, just albeit one that's marketed to more people.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Kev, but I just feel like, unfortunately, until we get our shit together enough to at least have a cohesive plan, we're not even going to we won't even get to the interview process. We won't even get to sit down at the big table, because it's going to be like, what is this clusterfuck? We don't give a fuck. Fuck off. We don't have time for this.
Jiu-jitsu is one of the biggest sports that's not in the Olympics. There's plenty of others, but it is
unquestionably.
It's one of the most global sports that's just
anyway. In the last 10 years for sure, 5 years for sure.
I mean, if you give me some Mongolian jacket wrestling in the Olympics, fuck yeah, dude, let's do that. because that's awesome.
I think we revisit this in the next Olympics a little bit more. I think that we will see if this wave of jiu-jitsu's appeal continues until the next Summer Olympics. And I think during the next Summer Olympics, we really revisit this and we put together a team of people that will be able to put it together to get us on the Olympics. I think it can happen.
I think by the 2030s, it could happen.
It's just such, but then you start, Kev, it's just so hard now because you can look at professional jiu-jitsu right now and see how it's drifting away from the gi. You know what I mean? Like, are the real guys going to want to put a gi on to say they're Olympians? It's just, it's so fractured.
That's another thing. I think that this only happens if we drop the gi. I don't think we could get gi jiu-jitsu in the Olympics. I don't know. I think because of judo. I think judo has that market cornered, and they don't want another.
Has more appeal. Has more fucking international appeal. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm fucking wrong on that.
I'm just saying in terms of the committee. I think they're going to look at gi jiu-jitsu and go, we already have judo. You know, we don't need somebody confused as to what they're watching, you know?
Yeah, but the karate people say we've already got fucking taekwondo. There's karate and taekwondo and fucking jiu-jitsu.
You know what? That's true. So maybe there's that. And I think that the only other issue would be investment from the athletes. I don't think early on enough of the major names would want to go off cycle for the Olympics, you know.
Let's find somebody. Let's find somebody that really knows what they're talking about. I bet.
Let's interview some Olympic expert. We're gonna make that happen. That's gonna be a big one that we do.
I bet his name is Robert Drysdale too.
Or
he at least knows someone.
Here's the thing, Rob, I love you, and we're going to have you on the show, obviously, because he's just fucking brainiac. I gain like 10 IQ points every time I think about the guy. But awesome, right? I would love to see if we could get somebody in the belly of the beast, you know, someone in the IOC that could correspond with us.
Really tell us exactly what we're dealing with and why they believed what they think jiu-jitsu needs to do to get there.
Yeah, because I think it would be good for the sport. There's people that say, again, I think that getting all of the major athletes to not do PANS 1 year or not do the IBJJF or not do the ADCC, depending on when the Olympics would be, I think that if we could get enough big names to like buy into the Olympics and have it be like, this is an actual thing that's happening, that could be cool, you know? I would love to see our guys. Like, I would love to see Mikey Musumeci. I'd love to see Kenan Duarte. Hopefully, if he, cheats the fucking drug test well enough. I like the Atos guys.
That's the other thing. These guys got to go fucking.
But fucking everyone in the Olympics is already on steroids. So like, it's not like our guys would have to change much.
Man. Those Olympians, they don't fuck around, man. That USDA testing, they ain't no joke, man. They test your ass like randomly for fucking everything, man. It's crazy what they put those. What do they use water or USDA? Water, right?
Water, yeah.
Yeah, but still, it's still crazy.
I mean, listen. So we actually got to go to the C team of jiu-jitsu. Who's our best guy that's clean?
Who's our best guy that's clean? All right, that's a tough one.
I'm gonna have a very tough call with Jake Watson. Hey Jake Watson, are you? Listen, just between you and me, are you doing drugs right now?
Fucking tell me, dude.
Because we can get you. You could be our guy. No, for real, you could be our guy. Yeah,
I don't care. I just want to know the truth.
By the way, go
Cornelius.
Check out Kevin Gallagher's appearance on the Open Guard cast, his most recent podcast. That was a pretty good one. Danny O'Donnell.
Those guys are cool. Yeah,
they're really cool. It's 110. It's about 111:30. How you feeling, buddy? You want to call it?
Yeah, let's call it, man. I'm figuring we got enough in. We go over 10 minutes. No, over an hour. No one really can fucking listen to us anymore. They
no.
I tune out.
With something like the Olympics, I feel like enough people are always interested in what the talking heads have to say about it, just because it is kind of ridiculous that the sport has grown to the level it has and it hasn't been included. You know?
No, yeah,
breakdancing's about to be in. Breakdancing's going to be in next year, I think.
What rule set does breakdancing have?
We're going to have Boogie on. We're going to have Boogie on to tell us
Like that
We're gonna have
shit.
Boogie on to tell us what exactly is going on with breakdancing.
Please, Boogie's probably gonna be on that team. Boogie and,
Fuck yeah! If he gets an Olympic medal in breakdancing before jiu-jitsu, that's fucked.
All right. Just before we cut, you're gonna do your thing. Me and Kev have been doing this for a long time. We love all you guys. If you're listening to this, and I know whether we always like to talk shit about this and we laugh while my mom's watching, but I know we do have some people out there that love and appreciate what we do, and we just want to let you guys know that we love and appreciate you. And we're committed to start cranking these things out again. We got some big things coming up. Lots of developments have happened in Kevin and Kevin's lives. Some big things are coming in the future, so keep an eye on it. If you love jiu-jitsu half as much as me and Kevin do, you're going to appreciate the things we've got cooking for you. So keep your eye out, guys.
Some empire building stuff behind the scenes from the two of us. Yeah, no doubt.
We have aspirations.
No, for real. And I think we've been really blessed thanks to, the people out there watching us, the crusty group that's held on through all the transitions and whatnot. You're the ones that help keep us coming back to this because, you show us that there's an audience for it. And to anyone out there with some brands that they're looking to get advertisement for, please hit me up at there we go, kbrads_BJJ at Instagram. We could maybe start selling some advertising for this bad boy. We also need to come up with a name for it. There might be a cool intro and name. But I don't know
that
what
would
it
be
is.
That would be a cool. Maybe we have a contest. The winner gets to get on the show for a fucking half an hour slot.
Coming up with the name, we might do that. But regardless of the name of the podcast, your hosts have names, and we're going to tell you them right now. I've been your host, Kevin Bradley, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Kevin Gallagher. It's been a lot of fun getting back into the swing of things with all of you. But until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. And remember to wash your geese. Some of y'all got stanky geese, and I think you know who you are. So wash them. All right. That was it, everybody. Good night.
See you guys.